So you can start now.
So welcome all the participants for today's interactive session. And this is the opportunity to set up an interaction, and any difficulties that you had faced or had doubts while um, looking at the video lectures and the slides. This is the forum to get it clarified, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. And as I could see that the questions that you already Excel sheet was circulated, but hardly there were any questions. And the questions that were there, one question is that what type of examination will be there? And one has written no questions. Okay. So let's see if there are any specific questions. We'll try to answer those because the Excel sheet doesn't have any specific question. How will the exam be? That's the only question that's possibly slightly relevant. And the other comment was no questions. So let's see if there are any questions. Please write on the chat. We are monitoring the chat. Okay. So there is a question from Kapis Bansal. When we will have our admit cards? Kapis, see, the teachers don't really have do any administrative stuff. So this you will have to take up with the NPTEL Center Chennai or your NPTEL spoke. So sorry, I cannot give any answer. We don't know actually that when admit cards will be sent. Now let's see if there are any further questions. Not able to see any questions now. Um, please write any question regarding the lectures that you had seen, the slides, anything relevant to the course, and so on. Okay, so one question from Atisai Jain, which I can see, is that what type of questions are asked in the final exam? Okay, Atisai, and the exam will be in similar pattern to the assignments. It is a MCQ, computer-based multiple choice question. And some questions might have multiple answers. So that is a MCQ is one question, one option is correct among five or some options. So a statement is given for something, and there are five options written below. Only one of them is correct. That is MCQ. And the MSQ is one where a statement is given and there will be multiple choice options, multiple options you will have to select. Multiple options will be correct. So the test will be a collection of MCQs and MSQs. It will become clear in your test, which is MCQ, where one answer is to be chosen and questions for which multiple answers can be correct. And as I understand, MCQ questions are a bit easier because there is only one answer which you have to search. But MSQ, any number of answers can be correct, and you have to be more careful there. Where when there are you're dealing with MSQs, multiple select, you have to read it much more carefully because you're likely to leave out even correct answers unless you read carefully. And the choices are carefully prepared so that unless you are careful, read the questions very, very carefully, think about it, you're likely to commit mistake. So be careful about the questions, read them carefully. And if you're done, you've seen through the lectures and also the slides, understood them, then you are likely to do well if you focus. If you read the questions correctly, carefully, each question and each option, you are likely to do well. Because after all, I have prepared the questions based on the video that was there, video lectures, and also the slides. And there is a question now, again from Atisai, that how to mark 100 in assessment. Atisai, your question is not very clear to me. How to mark 100 in assignment, in assessment? How to mark? You mean mark all the 100? No, not. Can you please rewrite your question? Not able to understand. Now, Assis Suman is when will exam be held? Again, Assis, the teachers don't have any control or they don't participate in administrative aspects. When exam will be held, where held, admit card sent, etc. These are done by a separate team. And please write a mail to the NPTEL mail ID that you have. I think they can help, but not me because I don't know what the question that you asked. The administrative aspects, teachers don't know. Now let's look at the next question by Rutuja Das. How many MCQs? Okay, Rutuja, we have designed the questions so that the allotted time will be enough for a average candidate. We don't really look at how many questions. There may be 50 questions or 60 questions, I don't remember. But then it should be enough to attempt in the allotted time. So don't worry about number of questions. You just see that whether you are able to complete in the allotted time. The next question, for any question, if we need rough paper, what to do? And Golu Kumar, you won't need rough paper because these are more of thought questions. As if you are understood and you can analyze, you can mark. If there is a small computation involved, which may not many questions have computation, you will have an online calculator. And again, this the exam conduction, etc., is not my area to speak anything on that. So I cannot really answer your question that whether they will supply rough paper, etc. But as I understand, they won't be needed. Rough paper won't be needed. But you can check at your center whether they will give rough paper. Now, next question is by Game Changer. If we practice all assignment thoroughly, can we pass in the exam? Yeah, certainly you can pass because y- there will be questions which are based on the assignments, and also you will have to read through the assignments carefully and watch the videos. Then you can pass. Just doing the assignment may not be, but you have to um, the slides that are given to you must read that, and also the video must watch. Then I am sure you will pass. Now, next question is by Atishay Jain. How to mark 100 by 100 in assessment because some questions are different by the course taught by you in video lecture. Okay, Atishay, as I understand, you are saying that some questions were not answered in the video. I mean, you cannot get direct answer to a question by watching the video. Yes, some questions require you to think, infer, and so on, but they are all as part of the overall syllabus that we covered. So, if you have watched the video and also the slides, remember, please look at the slides. I mean, the video lectures are after all based on the slide, but if you just watch the video, you are likely to miss certain points. Please look at the slides. And you should be able to get 100 out of 100 in the assessment. Next question is Kapis Bansal. Can we get sample papers of last year? See, Kapis, I don't maintain. See, once we send the questions to NPTEL, we destroy it. That's the guideline given to us. We don't maintain previous year questions. And I don't know whether NPTEL also maintains previous year questions once they administer. So I cannot give you an answer whether you can get previous year questions. So next question is by Sarad Kumar. Please provide any practice tests, practice set. Okay, Sarad, did you look at the software engineering book that I had written? There is a software engineering book I had written. So that has many multiple choice question, hundreds of them. And you may practice those. So next question is by Athar. Can you explain the waterfall model? Okay, Athar, this is the basic development model and possibly the simplest. Is being in use for a long time, but nowadays used in very restricted situations. It's not a popular model anymore. And as I said, it is the simplest, most intuitive and simplest model, phases one after other, starting with requirements, to design, to coding, to testing and maintenance. And there it looks like a waterfall. So that's a very high level explanation. Like somebody may ask, I mean, not in the NPTEL test, but somebody in a job interview may ask you that what are the phases in the waterfall model? Why is it called waterfall? And so on. That you should be able to answer. But I'm not getting any specific question and that you want answer. Just gave a very broad answer to your question. I hope that is okay. But if you need any specific stuff out of this model, just let me know. We will discuss. Just write at the chat. Now, the next question is, sir, is the paper level tough or easy? See, the paper level is tough or easy depends on your preparation. If you are prepared well, the paper is very easy. You cannot really complete in an hour, but definitely in half the time that is allotted, You will be you will complete it and say that the paper is really very, very easy if you are prepared well. But if you are not prepared, each question you will stumble and make mistakes and get zero. So I mean, students also have got zero, even though it's a easy paper. So the answer is that please prepare well and you will find the paper is very easy. Okay, next question uh, by Golu Kumar. Is the week assignment quiz are counted towards passing? Yeah, Golu Kumar. The assignments that are weekly given, their marks are also added to the mark that you are getting in the test. So together they decide the assessment mark and the test mark. I don't know the weightage for each of this, but they are considered to get the overall score that you will have. Now, next question uh, from Harmony, attending from GLA University. Okay, Harmony, good that you are from GLA University, Mathura, but what exactly your question? I am not really, it's not written. Please do write. Next question is Manjurani. Can there be any scenario based problem? Manjurani, can you please elaborate a little bit? Not really able to understand. What do you mean by scenario based problem? Let me not guess what you really mean. You please do write more clearly. What do you mean by scenario based problem? Now, I think we don't have any further questions. Okay. Again, Manjurani, your question is application applied. So very sorry, Manjurani. Still, I'm not able to understand. What do you mean by application applied? Please, please write a full sentence and something that I can understand. Right now, not able to really understand what you were wanting to ask. Now, next question: how to start solving DSA questions? Uh, you mean what do you mean by how to start solving DSA? I mean, again, your question is not clear. What do you mean by how to start solving DSA question? What is a DSA question? And what you really want is not becoming clear. Please rewrite your question. Now, let's see if there are any further questions. I'm not able to see any question. We'll really appreciate if there are questions related to the course itself, the contents of the course, but more we are getting in how the exam will repeat off, how many questions, that kind of stuff. So again, Durgesh, where we can get practice questions. I think Durgesh, I answered it in some ways that there is a book on software engineering written by me, which has a number of multiple choice questions, hundreds of them. You can get it from there for your practice. So again, Rajat, how to start learning DSA? What do you mean by DSA, Rajat? Please write the full form of DSA. I'm not able to make out. Now, Manjurani has now elaborated the question. You are assigned to test a new feature in an e-commerce application that allows users to apply discount codes at checkout. What steps would you take to ensure thorough testing of this feature? Okay, so Yes, see, see, one is, as Manjurani, as you know that there are several types of test. One is black box test. In black box test, based on what you have written there, that users are applied various discounts. So you check those, that whether the discounts are working properly. Your test case should be such that the discounts are working properly. And also, since you are saying that it is a new feature, you will have to also test whether the other features that were already there after you added new feature, whether they are working correct. And then there is this white box test where if you have the code accessible to you, you can check the decision coverage, path coverage, statement coverage, and so on. And then there is the performance testing, whether the feature performance is all right. So you have to design a proper black box test, and you know how to design the black box test. We discussed about the equivalence class partitioning, the boundary value, and then we're discussing about the pairwise testing and so on for the black box part. And if you have the code available, you'll have to test various coverages. And then the performance testing. And also, since it is a new feature, you'll have to do regression testing. Now, the next question is, Rajat, how to prepare for the exam? Rajat, preparation for NPTEL is extremely simple because there is a large number of students at different locations whom we don't meet. The only interaction is through the video lecture, which is circulated to all of you. Please look at the video lectures. Many questions are there in the video lecture. And also the slides that we share. Please read every point in the slide, every example worked out in the slide. If you are able to understand every sentence that is there, everything that is written down there, you have prepared well. Now let's look at the next question. Atharv, is there some more session of leave interaction? Yes, there will be one more last interaction, I think next month scheduled in October. Now, next question is by Manjurani. I have written the example of scenario based. Okay. So, Manjurani, you have said that you have given a scenario of execution of a software and you are asked to test. So basically, the test will be a black box test based on scenario because you don't have a code for that. And the scenario, as you know, that will have cases, boundary value, pairwise testing. See whichever is applicable, as I explained for the scenario that you had written. If a scenario is given, you will have to design the black box test cases for that. Okay, now Rajat has come with clarification that DSA means data structures and algorithms. But Rajat, we are discussing here software engineering, and it won't be proper for me to tell you about how to prepare data structure and algorithm. So very sorry, Rajat, but that's not the focus of our discussion. That point you should raise in the data structure and algorithm course. Our questions are not really that, and our course content is not that. So next question is by Atharb. I'll be prepared with the questions in what I am have doubt. Atharb, not really understanding what you are writing, but if I guess what you are trying to say, is that in the third interaction, which is in the next month, you will have the doubts. Yeah, please write them down in a piece of paper and please raise it in the next interaction. We'll be very happy to answer those. Please note it down. Now, let's see if there are any further questions. I'm not seeing any further question. Please do write in the chat if any questions you have. We're just monitoring the chat. Okay, okay, Athar, thank you. So please note down any doubts that you have. Otherwise, you'll forget it. Please write it down and please bring it to the next interaction. We'll be very happy to answer. Now, let's see. Let's wait for other questions. Please do write. Hurry up. Exhausted more than half the time. Please do write your questions. Anything that with the course contents, any specific points you didn't understand? Okay, now next is Athar. Uh, so that is the personal question is what subjects do you teach? Okay, okay, Athar. I do teach data structure and algorithm. I do teach computer architecture. I do teach advanced computer architecture. Do teach embedded systems. I do teach, and you might find that in the NPTEL lectures also, real-time operating systems. I do teach object-oriented analysis and design using UML, Java, and design patterns. That course is also there in the NPTEL, and of course the programming courses. So thank you, Athar, for asking that question. Now let's see if there are any further questions. Just waiting for your question. Waiting to see some questions. So in case the contents of the course are clear, whatever you read in the slides are clear, don't have any questions, then we'll just wait for 3 4 minutes and we'll close the session, and still you will have opportunity to ask questions in the next interaction next month. So just waiting, and 3 4 minute pass without any question. We'll assume that no questions are there, and we'll close the session. Please hurry up, do write quickly. If we don't see question in 3 4 minutes, we will close the session. Please hurry up, and just waiting for your question. If another minute or two don't get any questions, we will close the session. Okay, so I think Golu Kumar has written. Nobody has any question. So you'll have opportunity. Please do write down your questions. Our next interaction, please bring them up. And since there are no questions, we'd like to thank everybody who attended and asked questions. Hoping to see more questions in our next interaction. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.